Good morning everyone. Welcome to all fours e-learning classes. This is Zoology subject, session number 9, and the topic chemical control and coordination and integration, that is nothing but endocrine system. Now the topic we are going to discuss under session 9 is the disorders of the cortex of the medulla. Cortex of the adrenal glands, that is adrenal cortex and medulla we have seen. Now we are going to discuss adrenal cortex disorders, that is the disorders of the corticoid hormones. So adrenal cortex we have discussed. It is the part of the adrenal gland which is outer portion is with the zona glomerulosa, fasciculata reticularis, and it is secreting the steroid hormones, none other than the mineralocorticoids. Named to be the chief mineralocorticoid is none other than the aldosterone, and the glucocorticoids includes cortisol, corticosterone, cortisol. Next, the sex corticoids or gonadocorticoids are none other than sex corticoids. The androgen in the case of the males and estrogen in the case of the females. Now, these hormonal influence, we discussed that the aldosterone is a hormone which is responsible for the absorption of sodium and secretion of potassium. Cortisol is a glucocorticoid, increases the glucose levels. It is a hormone of a surviving, anti-inflammatory, stress combat, and immunosuppressive, and it also play a role in the erythropoiesis, production of RBC, whereas sex corticoids are for the maintenance of the secondary sexual characters. So all the disorders are related to that of the same functional deficiency of these hormones. So cortex, adrenal cortex disorders now we discuss. Adrenal cortex disorders. Cortex disorders now we are going to discuss. So in this connection, the disorders are: 1. It is the Addison's disease. Addison's disease. Addison's disease. Addison's disease is a disease. It is due to deficiency of the mineralocorticoids and glucocorticoids. Deficiency of the mineralocorticoids and the glucocorticoids results in Addison's disease. So let's see the deficiency of mineralocorticoids. The mineralocorticoid is aldosterone. Aldosterone is a hormone responsible for absorption of sodium and secretion of potassium. So the deficiency of aldosterone results in increase in absorption of the sodium does not takes place. So the sodium levels in blood plasma decreases, whereas sodium output through the urine increases. So here we see decrease in sodium in plasma, decrease of sodium in plasma. Next, increase of potassium in plasma. Why? It is failed to secrete. Apart from that, we do also discuss that through urine more sodium is eliminated, and bronze colored skin appearance. Bronze color bronze color skin appearance is also what the symptoms are observed in the Addison's disease. It is due to deficiency of mineralocorticoids. Next, we do discuss the Cushingoid syndrome. Cushingoid syndrome. Cushingoid syndrome. The point to remember, syndrome in the sense the group of the symptoms. Syndrome is nothing but in a biological term it is said to be the group of symptoms. The excessive secretion of cortisol. What do you mean by cortisol? Glucocorticoids. So under endocrine system, either hyposecretion or less secretion is what we are going to discuss. So here earlier we have discussed the hyposecretion or deficiency. Now it is the Cushingoid syndrome, excessive secretion, hypersecretion of cortisol results in Cushingoid syndrome. A Cushingoid syndrome is a condition where what is the functional role of the cortisol? We have discussed it. It is maintaining the glucose levels, point 1, and it is of carbohydrate metabolism, fat lipid metabolism, and glucocorticoids are life-saving, stress combat, anti-inflammatory, immunosuppressive is all what we discussed. Collectively it is increasing the glucose level. So it is anti-effect of insulin. Insulin decreases the glucose level but it increases. So the relative features are also of the same. That is, what we learn is the breakdown of the proteins and also the fat deposition in the different parts is what we do observe in the case of the Cushingoid syndrome, where the symptoms seen are, the symptoms appear to be under Cushingoid syndrome are: 1. Moon face. Next, the spindly arms. Next, pendulous abdomen are the symptoms we see. What do you mean by this? That is, protein breakdown and fat deposition takes place in different regions of the body. Moon phase in the sense the fat is deposited in the face and appear like the swollen puffy. That is moon phase. Spindly arms. In certain individuals, the fat deposition in the body is such that the spindle shaped like arms are seen, but it is not the biceps grown by exercise, but it is the fat deposition, that is spindly arms. And pendulous abdomen, the fat deposition in the abdomen such that it hangs and moves like a pendulum. Pendulous abdomen. So these are the symptoms in the Cushingoid syndrome. Apart from that, increasing in the heartbeat, blood pressure, weight gain, these are also symptoms we see in the case of the Cushingoid syndrome. It is excessive secretion of cortisol. Next, apart from that, we do also see aldosteronism. That is excessive secretion of the aldosterone is named to be the aldosteronism, where excessive secretion of aldosterone, excessively sodium is absorbed, and the secretion of potassium also more. So that is aldosteronism. Next, apart from that, we do also see adrenal virilism. Virilism. is what seen. Adrenal virilism is nothing but this is a condition where the masculinization takes place in the females. Adrenal virilism, that is the development of male characters in the female individuals. Development of male characters in female. In general, the hair, that is mustache, beard, and the low pitch voice is the feature of the males. But here in females, the mustache formation, beard formation, and low pitch voice are the features seen in the females, which is the adrenal virilism. Development of the male character, masculine features in the females is adrenal virilism. And one more is also we see, that is gynecomastia. Gynecomastia is a condition which relates to the impairing in the secretion of the adrenal hormones, corticoid hormones, particularly the sex corticoids. Development of mammary glands in males. Generally, the mammals in which the mammary glands of the breast are functional in females only. They are underdeveloped in males. But a condition called gynecomastia, where the development of the mammary glands in males is said to be the gynecomastia. This is nothing but development of feminine features in the males. So this is all what related to. So this is because of the sex corticoids impairing in function. This is with the aldosterone, and this is with the glucocorticoid. This is gluco and the mineralocorticoids. So these are all what related to the disorders of adrenal cortex. However, the medullary hormones deficiency does not exist. As we have already seen, what we have observed, that is adrenal medulla hormones are not as essential as that of the adrenal cortex. So cortex hormones, if here what we observe is during the time of sudden accidents, the adrenal cortex may be damaged, or else during the surgery there is a removal of the adrenal cortex. So that's the reason why if they are removed or else damaged, there we observe the abnormalities such as the Addison's disease, Cushingoid syndrome, aldosteronism, adrenal virilism, and gynecomastia. Next, let's move on to the another endocrine gland, the gland which is treated to be considered to be the mixed gland, that is none other than pancreas. Pancreas is now we are going to discuss. Pancreas. Pancreas is considered to be the mixed gland. It is the mixed gland. Why it is the mixed gland? It is both exocrine and endocrine. Exocrine and endocrine. We do discuss both exocrine and endocrine. Exocrine is the duct gland, whereas the endocrine is ductless glands. Ductless gland. This is what the pancreas considered to be the mixed gland. We know very well pancreas is the gland which is present at the loop of the duodenum, and this is the gland which is with the exo and endocrine part. 98% is exocrine part, that is digestive related. Basically, the exocrine part includes the lobes named to be. This is the structural description of the pancreas. Look at here, they are arranged in a lobes. The lobes of the pancreas name it to be the acini. Look at here, this is the structure of the pancreas. This is the exocrine portion, which is the lobed structure, and this lobed structure is the exocrine part which secrete the digestive juices, and these are what named to be the acini. Look at here, acini. These are all what lobes named to be the acini. 98% belong to the exocrine part. These lobes are acini, which are what contain the ductules. Lobules contain ductules, and the ductules lead into duct. So from pancreas there comes out a duct named to be the main pancreatic duct. We have discussed this description earlier. The pancreatic gland which contain the acini lobes, which secretes the proteinoid the pancreatic juice. The acini is an exocrine part. The exocrine part is of a digestive and release the pancreatic juice, which is stimulated by cholecystokinin. Hence that is named to be the pancreozymin, and the juice that is secreted from the pancreas is with the 8.4 pH with trypsinogen, chymotrypsinogen, nucleases, and lipase named to be the steapsin, carboxypeptidase, that is referred to, that is belong to the digestive juice portion. Next, the endocrine part is off, and this pancreatic duct which combines with the common bile duct and results in hepatopancreatic duct, which is also named to be the ampoule of water, which releases the secretions into the duodenum. The opening is guarded by sphincter of Oddi. This is we have discussed. Now the endocrine portion. So 98% is exocrine part, 2% is of endocrine. That's what it is, both the ductless and the duct gland. It is exocrine and endocrine and mixed. So endocrine portion includes 4 different kinds of the cells, and this endocrine part is named to be the islets of Langerhans. It is named after the discoverer or scientist named to be the Langerhans. The islets of Langerhans. Look at here. Here we find the islets of Langerhans. Islets of the Langerhans. Islets of the Langerhans, and are of the 3 types of the cells we find. 3 types of the cells. Look at here. 3, and one more is also present. 4th type, alpha, beta, delta and F cells. 4 different kinds of the cells are present, not 3 but 4. That is the alpha cells, which are referred to be A cells, alpha, beta, beta, delta, and the F cells are what we do find. There are 4 kinds of the cells: alpha cells, beta cells, delta cells, and F cells are pancreatic polypeptide cells. Alpha cell secretes glucagon. Alpha cell secretes glucagon. Beta cells secrete insulin. Delta cell secretes somatostatin. And F cell secretes pancreatic polypeptide hormones. So these are the 4 kinds of the hormones. These are 4 kinds of the hormones seen in the case of the endocrine portion. Endocrine portion is referred to be the islets of Langerhans. It is named after the discoverer or scientist Langerhans. It is with the alpha, beta, delta, and the F cells. These are the 4 kinds of the cells we do observe in the case of the endocrine portion of this. Alpha is secreting the glucagon. Glucagon is a hormone in the liver. The glucagon and insulin are the 2 hormones which are antagonistic to each other, and they influence the liver, where the glycogen is converted into glucose, glucose is converted into glycogen. Glucagon is said to be the hyperglycemic hormone. Hyperglycemic. Glucagon secreted from the alpha cells is considered to be the hyperglycemic. Hyper, more, glycemic, glucose. So hyperglycemic. Why? It is the hormone in the liver, influences the intermediate metabolism. Name it to be the glycogenolysis. Glycogenolysis. What do you mean by this? You mean that glycogen is lysed. That is, glycogen break into glucose. Glycogenolysis results in the breaking of the glucose, and glucose is produced. This is how glucagon increasing in the glucose level. So it is the hyperglycemic hormone. By glycogenolysis, it breaks down the glycogen into glucose, which takes place in the liver. We have discussed the liver functional roles. It is exhibiting the glycogenolysis, glycogenesis, gluconeogenesis, lipogenesis. So in this connection, we learn the glucagon in the liver exhibit the glycogenolysis, where glycogen is breaks down into glucose. This is how it increases the glucose level. So it is the hyperglycemic hormone. Whereas the beta cell secretes the insulin. And one more point to remember, that these are both the proteinoid hormones and the peptide hormones. In this connection, insulin is a proteinoid hormone. Insulin is a hormone which is secreted from the beta cells. It is responsible for converting the glycogen, that is converting the glucose into glycogen, which means glucose is converted into glycogen, means glycogenesis. It play a role in glycogenesis, which is in contrast to that of the glucagon. Genesis in the sense synthesis. What synthesis? Glycogen. What do you mean by that? glucose of the body is converted into glycogen and stored in the liver. That's what glycogenesis, which means it is converting the glucose into glycogen. So it is decreasing the glucose levels are decreased. So it is a hypoglycemic hormone. Glycemic hormone. It is very, very important to recall your memory. Hypercalcemic hormone is being the parathormone. Hypocalcemic is thyrocalcitonin. Hyperglycemic is the glucagon. Hypoglycemic is insulin. So there the parathormone and the calcitonin are antagonistic to each other. Next, insulin with that of the glucagon is also antagonistic to each other. Gastrin and enterogastrin antagonistic to each other. Melanocytic stimulating hormone melatonin is antagonistic to each other. But epinephrine or epinephrine are not. Both of them in terms of the terminology may look different, but both of them are similar in function. Just now we have discussed it. Next, so it is decreasing the glucose level. That's what in terms of the application, the cortisol increases the glucose level. That's what it is, anti-insulin in effect we discussed, right? So but cannot be treated, both are antagonistic. Keep that in mind. The functional aspects are different. The third one is delta cells secreting the somatostatin. Recall your memory. There are various sources of secretion of somatostatin. 1. Delta cells of the pancreas. 2. Somatostatin, that is growth hormone, inhibitory hormone, that is from hypothalamus, and also from the gastrointestinal tract of the stomach and the intestine. We do find the somatostatin releasing from the argentephane cells, endocrine cells, same. So somatostatin is of sources in terms of the hypothalamus, pancreas, as well as the case with the endocrine cells of the stomach, right? Here the somatostatin inhibit the secretion of glucagon and insulin. Almost all, in all instances, it is inhibitory itself. Their growth hormone inhibitory. In stomach, it inhibits the gastrointestinal tract hormone, and here insulin and glucagon. So it is inhibitory effect. Next, F cells are pancreatic polypeptide, which is inhibiting the secretion of somatostatin. Collectively, pancreas hormones are maintained balance. That is, they are what said to be maintaining the balance of the glucose. Glucose levels are being maintained balanced by pancreas. This is the description regarding pancreas. Thank you.